Tatami Galaxy is, dare I say it, out of this world.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
You guys remember college? Or have you not gone through that yet? Maybe you're still going through it right now. Go ahead and drop your personal information in the comments. College is an interesting phenomenon. Surrounding the thing are all these wild expectations and excited feelings towards what's to come. The best part, at least in my opinion, is you finally get some time on your own away from dear old mom and dad. Technically, you're supposed to be studying, but given the nature of the modern material, you're not missing much. The real appeal of college isn't the academics, it's the social side. Making new friends, going to parties, leaving your mark, that sort of thing. But on the top of your list, you filthy degenerates, is probably finding a nice girlfriend-free girl. What I've just described, at the very least, is the main objective of our main character, who desires that fabled rose-colored campus life. Just as one will arrive early on the first day of class to methodically survey the best seat for success, he will also analyze the pros and cons of the many school clubs and circles so as to put himself in the best position for winning the game of college. So our unnamed narrator, after careful consideration, joins the tennis club and marches ever closer to his raven-haired maiden. Except nothing ends up happening. Instead of a raven-haired maiden, he gets a ghoulish gamer who claims to be tied to him by the black thread of fate. No Name ends up wasting 2 years with this guy, pulling pranks on the other members. Fed up with how things aren't going his way, he resolves to finally confess to his crush. But when the moment of truth arrives, he backs down and then blames everyone else for messing up his life. He wishes for another chance at these past 2 years, and he gets it. The universe seemingly throws him back in time, where he tries once more for that rose-colored campus life. Let me go ahead and address the Fed in the Incel Discord. The show is kind of weird.
See this look? It's terror!
When you think of anime, you probably don't picture this kind of aesthetic. Everything looks like one of those old Japanese watercolor paintings, but modernized, and not in a bad way for once. Sometimes you'll be treated to a little live action too, which actually works really well with the whole vibe of the show. The designs of the characters are similarly distinct, further separating this from the generic pile of trash you'd probably call your top 10. However, if you're enlightened like me, you might recognize the director, who also created a plethora of other trippy shows. Out of all of his work though, I'd put Tatami Galaxy at the top. Besides the visual style, there's the audio style. Is that what you call dialogue? It doesn't matter. Most of the time, you'll be hearing the monotone manifesto of our narcissistic narrator, but the witty back and forth he has with the rest of the cast never made for a dull moment. Fair warning, the fast-paced conversations demand your total attention if you want to enjoy them to their fullest. I'm not completely illiterate, but there are moments where even I need to bust out the old point-and-click adventure method to reading, if you catch my drift.
Okay, just slow the fuck down. I can't understand you.
Don't let that fact discourage you from giving the show a fair shake. Frankly, you probably want to rewatch the whole series after you finish just to spot all the things you missed the first go-around. In total, you're only looking at 11 22-minute episodes. That's a nice Saturday night viewing. I know you're not busy. I've dug into the style enough, let's dive into the substance. Every episode follows the same basic formula. Main guy joins new club, wastes 2 years doing nothing, doesn't seize opportunity, ends up wishing for a do-over. Repetition is the name of the game here, yet each episode shows you something new. You see a new character in one episode and form your opinions surrounding him, only to challenge those opinions some episodes later after seeing them from a different side. None of the characters have any memories of the previous episodes per se, but they often have moments of what we'll call on-the-nose deja vu. And since events tend to mostly play out the same every time, the relationships between characters remain consistent. To all of my more cultured viewers, this is not like the Endless 8 from Haruhi. If you don't know what I'm talking about, God bless you. When I say events tend to mostly play out the same, I just mean that our guy keeps screwing things up and blaming someone else. But it's this very man and his story that solidified this anime as a masterpiece. He's just some random guy with delusions of grandeur, a real self-described main character who thinks his story is the tale of the century. But as every episode shows, he keeps wasting his life. Actually, it's not that he's wasting his life, it's that he's wasting his energy. He puts so much effort into pointless things, all in the name of getting that rose-colored campus life. Every episode he goes on and on about what he needs to do to find a raven-haired maiden, but he continuously opts for these convoluted, multi-year-long plans instead of just letting things play out naturally. In every timeline, regardless of his schemes, he always finds a missing charm that belongs to a pretty girl who enjoys talking with him. He takes that charm home and he tells himself that he'll use this chance to ask her out, but he never follows through. From the outside looking in, it's like, my brother in Christ, you've won the lottery, claim your prize. She's voiced by Shinobu.
No!
I think now would be a good time to once again mention how fast this guy talks. It can feel like information overload every time he opens his mouth, but I'll let you in on a little secret. You don't actually have to follow what he's saying. Let me give you the textbook. We've all heard the rule, show, don't tell. It's writing 101, but it's not the only way to do things. And no, I don't think tell, don't show is the way to go. I'm talking about show by telling. When No Name tells us about characters, clubs, or locations, he shows us, among other things, his own perception of himself. He thinks knowing all this useless information or being able to make long-winded inferences means he's a genius, but really, he's just wasting his energy. I love when a show plays into its own narrator like this. Usually, a narrator is the mark of a weak writer, but when that narrator shows off his bias in the presentation of events, it often makes for some quality writing. This being a story with a time travel aspect perfectly plays into the narrator's arc. I got the sense that he subconsciously knew that no matter what happened, he would always get a second chance. And it's that safety net that stopped him from ever taking a real risk. With an infinite amount of tries, you'd eventually pull off a flawless run, right? Why settle for something less than the perfect outcome? I'll tell you why. We aren't perfect. That's kind of the whole point of being human. You're gonna make mistakes, you're gonna have regrets, and you're gonna be dealt some bad days. But you can't stay in the past. It's not healthy. You know where you want to end up. So stop waiting for things to play out just right and start walking. We're all gonna make it. But if you want to reach the finish line, you have to take the first step. I'm not gonna spoil the incredible ending, but I will say, it's alright. Anyways, I think I'll end this one here. Oh, actually, if you're wondering where you can watch this show right now, it's stuck to Funimation. I think that means it'll eventually end up on Crunchyroll, but who knows when that will happen. There is a sequel series that's coming to Disney Plus soon, so maybe it'll end up there, though no doubt it'll be exclusive to Japan. I know I say this every time, but yo ho, boys. And until next time, Ave Maria, Deus Vult, and please don't actually put your personal information in the comments.